Welcome to How Now, the podcast where we talk about how to live in the now. And here's your host, Kim Martin Raymond.
Peace and blessings, love and light, and welcome to this edition of the How Now podcast, where we talk about how to live in the now. I am your host, Kim Martin Raymond. I am a minister, spiritual life coach, holistic nutritionist, author, and founder of Redefining You LLC, where I help my clients to realign themselves, mind, body, and spirit. And welcome to this evening's show. If this is your first time joining us on the How Now podcast, welcome to the show. We're so glad to have you here sharing space with us this evening. Be sure to go to my website, www.hownowpodcast.com. Be sure to click on your favorite podcast platform and be sure to like, follow, share, and subscribe. You can also scroll to the bottom of the page and click on the banner for this week's show, and it'll take you to the How Now YouTube channel where you can like, follow, share, and subscribe there as well. You can check out my playlist, including my Tuesday playlist and all things that are going on in my now. So again, that is www.hownowpodcast.com. So let's get into this evening's show. I am so excited for my guest who is here because he is no stranger to the show. He has been a guest on the show previously. And before we dive into why he is here with us this evening, I'm going to have him, as is customary with the How Now podcast, to introduce himself at this time. Take it away, my friend.
Thanks so much for having me back on the show, first of all. My name is Cheyenne Bostock. I am a husband, father, author, life and relationship coach, and I make fun and sense of everyday life, dating, and relationships.
Awesome. Awesome. Again, I'm so glad to have you back on the show. And as you mentioned, you are a relationship coach and and that's why you were here last time on our show. We were here talking about relationships and talking about women and being single and dating and just overall aspects of relationships and what they can do to get to the space that they want to in the relationships that they're having with their counterparts. And so, since you've been on the show, I'm happy to announce, as he said in his introduction, that he is now a husband because he was single the last time he was here on the show. And I am excited that he has actually gotten married since the last time he's been here. So, tell us a little bit about.
Well, technically single being meaning not married. I definitely was engaged, so I wasn't available the last time we spoke. But I am now 1 year into our marriage. We just celebrated our 1 year anniversary on May 28th. And it's been wonderful. We are learning so much about each other. If my wife was here right now, she would probably be like, who is this man? What is going on? He keeps doing these crazy things, like, things with my diet or things with fitness or just things with my health. And she's like just going through the motions with me. And I call it exploring new sides of one another. But nonetheless, there's never a dull moment in this house. I know she would say that much.
Well, yeah, shout out to her, and hopefully we'll get a chance to meet her at some point. Have her come and talk about this different aspect of your relationship. That's the beauty of this show, and it's the beauty of How Now. It's what's happening in the now. And just like I said at the end of the last show you were on, we never know what's going to happen 2 minutes, 2 hours, 2 weeks, or 2 years from now. And here we are, talking about this new aspect of your life and of your relationship. And
Yes.
you spoke about challenges and things that you've been doing, and that's what we're here to talk about this evening, about a challenge that you recently did, and it's relating to health, it's relating to diet, it's relating to our bodies. And one thing that's important, and just as important as the relationships that we establish with people, with our friends, with our loved ones, we also have to have a relationship with ourselves, and that includes having a relationship with our bodies. Now, you you created a challenge for yourself, and you said that it was for, aesthetic reasons, or, you wanted,
Vanity.
yeah, vanity. That was the word.
Pure
It was a
vanity.
vanity, pure a vanity. You created a challenge, and I happened to see it, and I was like, I need to bring Cheyenne on the show to talk about this challenge that he did. So, talk about the challenge that you just recently posted on social media that you decided to embark on.
Yeah, so on May 1st, 2024, I did a 21-day no food water fast. So for 21 days, I ate absolutely no food and I only drank half a gallon of water, tap water at that. The reason why I did this was for pure vanity. When I first met my now wife, I had a six pack. I had it going on. I mean, she couldn't keep her hands off me. And over time, I said, you know what? I want to gain some weight. I want to put on, so I wanted to put on muscle. I didn't want to put on fat. But nonetheless, I just went crazy just eating all types of food. And I definitely gained weight, but I gained some weight in some places that I didn't want. And so my wife would make fun of me. She'd like, listen, I don't date fat men. You know what I'm saying? And so I said, don't worry about me, baby. Before our anniversary, I'm gonna have that six pack back.
All right.
And what happened was I'm looking at myself in the mirror and I'm seeing a gut. Now I would see the gut. I've been seeing the gut for the past couple of years, but I was like, I don't look that bad. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I look decent, especially if I wear a shirt. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
People see the shoulders and the definition in the arms and stuff like that. They're not going to see down here, right? So I said, but I saw myself when I, got ready to go in the shower, get dressed. I would see myself. So I said, it was at the end of April. I said, enough, enough. I'm tired of looking at this belly.
Right.
What am I doing with a belly like this? And I didn't know any other way to lose it because I work out every day.
Yes.
And that gut still didn't go nowhere.
Right.
Problem is, I eat how I want at home. There's
Right.
no limits to my diet, no discipline to my diet. And so that resulted in unwanted fat. So I said, let me see if I can get this under control. Let me try a different method. So I said, I bet if I didn't put any calories in my body for 21 days and I work out for 21 days, this belly has to go. And if it don't go, I'm just going to give up because I don't know any other way to get rid of this thing quickly.
Right.
And sure enough, within that first week, I lost 15 pounds and went down 2 pant sizes.
Wow.
I have an older brother. He is much thinner than I am. I had 4 pairs of pants that I gave to him. And one of the pants I bought, I could never fit them, but I liked them so much, I tried to squeeze myself in them anyway. But I said, you know what? It's time for me to give these things away. My brother will probably be able to fit them perfectly, and he could. But then I went back to him in a week. I said, hey, let me try those pants on one more time. And for the first time in years, I was able to fit those pants without a belt.
Wow. Wow.
And I had a little room.
Well,
The first 7 days, I was like, okay, if this is what I get in the first 7 days, I'm going to keep going. I'm going to go to 14. I'm going to go to 21 because I want this six pack back. And people kept asking me, I only told a few people about this, very, very few. They say, why are you doing this? I said, it's very simple. I want to lose my gut. This isn't a spiritual fast. This isn't, for religious purposes. This is vanity. This is for my gut. I didn't see Jesus or anything like that in this 21 days. It was all pure vanity. Now, there are definitely spiritual benefits, whether that's your intention or not. There's definitely, so it's like it's a twofold. It's a win-win. You get more clarity in your life. You get more focused and you get a better body. I thought, here's the truth. I wasn't hungry the entire 21 days. A lot of people ask me, how do I do it? The reason why they ask me, how did I do it? is because they're so accustomed to eating all day, every day. Now their mind is programmed to tell them, you have to do this. They market to you all day, every day on billboards, television, social media, and you're saying, I want that. I need that. I crave that. I desire it. I can't live without it. Those 21 days, I was high energy, high energy. I don't know how, but my body said, you're fine. We're eating this fat.
Right.
You're fine. Your mind tells you you're hungry, not the body. That's your mind.
Right.
The body has been waiting 40 years for you to let us eat what's already here.
Right.
We don't need you to put any more stuff in here. We're still trying to get to the stuff you've been eating for the past few decades. And you won't let, and that's because that's the body's like, that's the good stuff. You know how you get like the Crispies or the stuff at the bottom of the pan, if you just scrubbing the pan, you missing the good part.
Right.
So the body's like, let me get to the good stuff for once in my life. Right. And so I finally let the body get to it, and that body just ate it up so fast. My son, he came over and he's like, wow, Dad, I never thought you would lose your gut. Because he would always make fun of me because, I'm generally fit, but if you look at me with my shirt off, it's like I got a little gut. And he will always make fun of that. And he's like, wow, Dad, I never thought you would lose it. I'm proud of you. Wow. That was the big thing for me. Like my son and my wife saw how devoted I was to this. And it's important for your family and your friends and your neighbors and your peers to see how disciplined you are. You get respect. Yeah. When you devote yourself and you're disciplined with something and you inspire other people. When I told other people, when I was playing basketball, everything, I was like, yo, I'm day 4 in my 21-day fast. I haven't eaten anything in 4 days. That's why you're beating me. I blamed it on the fast. And then next thing you know, I'm in a week later, I'm in day 11. And they're like, wow, you still playing basketball with us? And you haven't eaten in 11 days? I'm like, yeah. I'm trying to do everything I can to burn this fat. I'm not just gonna sit around and let the body just eat it. No. I'm gonna be moving. I'm riding my bike. I'm running. I'm playing basketball. I'm lifting weights heavy, high energy. See, I didn't consult with anybody before I started this 21-day fast. You know why? I didn't want anybody to try to talk me out of what I knew I could do. Yeah. They'll say, no, don't, you got to take it easy. Don't work out. Don't play basketball. You might hurt yourself. I don't want to hear, I'm like, la, 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 la. I don't want to hear any of that stuff. I'm going to push myself. Now, this is just for me. I'm not saying that anybody else should do this. Ladies and gentlemen, I've run marathons, plural. I've run several half marathons. I do extreme things like this all the time. This is a regular thing for me. So my mind is like just always on go, looking for something crazy that I can do. And I know my body can take it. Yes. I know my body can take it. So if you've never attempted anything extreme and succeeded, I'm not recommending that you just jump right into anything extreme like that. I'm just sharing what I've done and what has worked for me and the limits that I push my body. And so, when I share this journey that I'm on, and, people who have, this is the weirdest thing to me, by the way, people who have never done it are giving me advice. It's the weirdest thing in the world. Weirdest thing in the world. So I stopped them mid-sentence. Hey, have you ever done a 21-day fast? No. But there are plenty of people. They say there are plenty of people. There's churches that fast for 20. But there's people. I'm like, I don't want what you read on the internet. Right. Because if you're not someone who's actually done it, no disrespect, but you're
Right.
not really qualified to have this conversation with me.
Right.
And that
Right.
offends a lot of people. I'm telling you, there's so many people who were offended when I told them that. They just couldn't fathom it. They just didn't understand that sometimes it's okay to be quiet
Right.
if you don't have accurate information. You should
Right.
see just go to my comments when I posted what I did on my first meal back. Oh my
Right.
God, your body's gonna go into shock. You shouldn't rush back. You should do bone broth. I said, I'm not doing no bone broth.
Right.
I want a meal. I haven't eaten in 21 days. I'm
Right.
gonna eat and I'm gonna eat good. And
And you
so,
did.
yeah, and there were no negative side effects. So, as far as I'm concerned, instead of them telling me what I should do, they should be asking me, what did you do?
There you have it. There you have it. And I think that's the important thing to remember in all this. The first and foremost, the first question you should have asked is, what were you doing prior to this? I know you said that you were eating and eating the way you would, but just like you said, you are a person who exercised daily.
Daily.
Right, a person who ran marathons, like you said, with an S,
Hmm.
and half marathons with an S. Okay, so prior to you picking up the weight, what was an average day for you with regards to your exercise regimen? I know you said you ate whatever you wanted to, but what was your exercise regimen?
My wife would tell you, I had her doing, I'm gonna tell you what we did together,
Okay.
because she wasn't a member of a gym before she met me. She's a professional dancer though, so she's always moving her body.
Yes.
But I inspired her to get a gym membership, and she would work out with me. We would do challenges together. One challenge that we did a 30-day liquid challenge. So we would have water, we would have juice, we would have soups, and we would also run and work out throughout that time too. And I believe I lost maybe 15 pounds doing that. That was really good. We did a challenge. We ran 5 miles a day for 30 days. And she's not a runner. So you know how proud she was, very proud after because she didn't know that she could do it. And I was like, I know you can do it. I know you can do it. I'll be right there with you. So by the time we got to sign up for a 5K race, which is
Right.
far less
Right.
than the 5 miles a day that we've been doing, she killed it.
Right.
It was easy.
Right.
It was
Right.
easy. We just ran 5 miles together yesterday.
Yeah.
She's
And
pushing herself further. She's doing more. She's able to handle the workouts that I give her and we do together, and she loves it. She loves being pushed, and I remember being there myself. As I said, I run marathons, but there was a point where I was running only 2.5 miles,
yeah.
and at the time I was dating a marathoner. And she was
Mm,
like, "Why are you only running 2.5 miles in 30 minutes?" I said, "That's just the time I set for myself on the treadmill."
right.
And so she was like, "You're young, you're fit, you're an athlete. You can do way more than that." She was a little bit older than I was. I was maybe 28. She was 42, but she
Okay.
was she was extremely fit and extremely fast, and she was just amazing in all areas of her life. She was an amazing woman. um and the first day I ran with her, we ran double what I was used to. We ran 2.5 miles going, 2.5 miles coming back. And ever since that day, I was ashamed of myself. First of all, I was like, wow, I didn't know I could do that. And so she challenged me. She said, I want to challenge you to 30 days, no meat, no sugary drinks, run 5 miles a day. I said, you're on. And I didn't work out in the gym at all that month. And at the end of it, my body was so ripped. I lost fat I didn't even know I had. My face was looking slim, every six pack, everything all ripped. I was like, I got that from running. In the beginning stages, my body was beat up real bad. I'll be honest, toenails was coming off, shins, shins was killing me. Chafing from wearing the wrong shirts.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Wrong socks, wrong sneakers, wrong shorts, everything. I was a beginner, but I could not deny the results.
Right.
And, I went from running 5 miles a day to running my first 5K to my first 10K to my first 10-mile race to my first half marathon. And maybe 2 years after that first time, I ran my first marathon.
You see, and that's the thing. The thing that's so beautiful about what you're sharing is that you understood your body. You challenged it. And I think that's what happens. We tend to limit ourselves by saying what we can't do, but we don't push ourselves sometimes to see what we're capable of doing. Just
Mm-hmm.
like I just ran 2.5 miles because that's what the treadmill said to run, and I just ran that. We're so programmed to do things, just like without eating. We eat, when we were kids, what did we do? We had breakfast when we went into school in the morning because that's what they put in front of us. When the bell rang, we went to lunch. When we got home and we ate dinner. We're programmed to do things a certain way.
Mm-hmm.
So, as we're doing those things, we're like, okay, there's, this is how it's supposed to be. Never challenging and saying, well, what if we don't do that? What if we don't eat that many times a day? What if I don't feel hungry during that time? Am I supposed to be ashamed because I'm not eating because I'm supposed to be eating at a particular time? Or I'm supposed to be doing things at a certain time? I think we get caught up in what's forced on us to do
Oh, yeah.
instead of pushing ourselves to see if we can go beyond. We
You,
don't take,
you,
oh, I'm sorry, go ahead.
you know what? One of the biggest things I learned and realized from doing this 21-day fast, I thought to myself, how is it possible that I can go 21 days without food? Yet we're programmed to believe that we need breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Says who? Like, who made this up?
Right. And just
Corporations
like you
who are
said,
trying to make money?
absolutely. Think about supplements. And like I said, people were asking, well, he doesn't need to take any supplements. When people were, pre-civilization, civilization prior to us getting to the point where we are not, did they have a CVS? Did they have a Walgreens? Were they going to the
No.
store and getting vitamins? They were getting their vitamins and nutrients, yes, of course, through the supplements of food. But just like you said, we have so much processed food and so many things that are stored in our body, just like you said, that your body was waiting to feed off of
Mm-hmm.
because it's been in there. And so your body was feeding off of all of those things that you were putting into it, and saying, okay, and I think the biggest thing for people to realize too is that, when you're losing weight, there's a difference. You can lose muscle and you can lose fat. Just like you were saying earlier, how do I know that the weight that I'm losing is fat or muscle? And
And
so
you know
I have
something?
challenging that. Yeah.
I was not even worried about losing the muscle because the important part for me was losing the fat. I can build the muscle.
Yeah.
I can't wait to show because people gonna be like, what is this guy doing? When I build the muscle, when I take
Mhm.
the time to focus on the muscle the way I focused on the fat, they're gonna be like, oh my God, what is this guy doing? I'm focusing, I'm channeling energy into a specific area so that I can get specific results. And
Yeah.
it's just that simple. We just have to decide this is what I want and stop crossing our fingers and leaving everything to chance.
Yeah.
And that's what happens when we don't have control over our bodies. We don't have control over our diets. We end up with whatever we wake up with, as opposed to having sculpted the body that we actually want. That's very possible. Decide, do you want bigger calves? Do you want bigger biceps? You want bigger triceps? You want a bigger back, flatter stomach, more abs, bigger butt, whatever it is. You can focus on it. And if you focus on it and you're consistent and disciplined, you will see results in that area.
Yeah. But I think, like you said, it is about knowing your body, knowing your limitations. Because I know for a fact that if you had started this challenge and say you started feeling, you started having muscle spasms or things like that, you would address it. It's not like
Mm-hmm.
you were going that like, you were doing what your body allowed you to do, and not, and that if your body would have signaled you any other way, would you not have stopped or said, wait a minute, maybe something is going on? And that's a part of knowing and having a relationship with your body as well. Knowing that you can push it. You said, okay, after that first week, oh, okay, right, everything's good. So, you check in with yourself. And I think that and I think that's the important thing for people to remember too. You can start something or you can try something, but you don't know how successful you're going to be until you push that limit. And once you push that limit, if you realize that, okay, wait a minute, maybe something is wrong, then you stop and say, okay, what do I need to do? How do I need to reset or correct so that way I'm not causing harm to myself? That's the important thing I want people to remember as well. When you're doing challenges like this, when you're testing your body, go to the limit of where it can go. Then if you're realizing, okay, this is too much, then I can start scaling back. You
And
know
I
what I'm
think
saying?
I think a
Not
lot
saying
of
that you're not
people
going to do it.
I
Uh-huh.
think a lot of people don't give themselves a chance. They don't give themselves the opportunity to see what their
Yeah,
bodies are capable of,
yeah,
what they are capable of, because they are preoccupied with drinking, with smoking, with overindulging in food, and shopping, and eating out, and cooking, and doing all of these things
yeah,
that they think they need
yeah,
and or strongly desire because they've been programmed by society, uh, corporations, marketers, things like that. Every time they see a sign, oh, Big Mac, I gotta go get one,
right.
you know.
I mean,
And
click
so
turn on social media every other page. Click on one thing that you saw that looked delicious every other day, every other
and
moment,
it's going to
something's
be
going to
on
come
your
up on
homepage,
all
explore
the time.
page, and your emails, all of that stuff.
Okay.
But what I will say is that one thing that I learned was that food is a tool that will allow you to get closer to your family, your friends, your loved ones. It is a great bonding tool, and that's something that I did miss uh, throughout this 21-day fast. I couldn't eat with my son, couldn't eat with my wife. Shoot, I went over my friend's house and he was hiding his food, like eating in the corner. He was like, "Oh, I didn't want to eat in your." I said, "No, it's okay. It's okay. I'm not gonna
Oh,
get tempted." Once I set my mind to something, like I was cooking for my wife, cooking for my son. I didn't even I didn't taste the food, so they had to trust me. And so once I set my mind to something, people ask me this, like, how did you not eat any food? How can you not get tempted? I'm not quitting on myself.
so
I'm
it's a
not
mind,
quitting on myself.
right?
If I say I'm doing a 21-day fast, I'm not gonna let a pizza that's in front of me, it smells good, tempt me to break my commitment to myself.
Yeah,
I'm not doing it. I can't fail in front of my wife and son. That's not happening. I'm not quitting in front of my wife and son. I need them to see that when I say that I'm going to do something, I do it. I see it through all the way to the end. I complete it. I finish it. I get it done. That was so important to me. There was nothing that was going to stop me from going this 21 days. And I'll tell you, when day 22, I was in day 21, I was cooking my behind off all night up until about 11 p.m. And then I had a roast in the oven that was going to finish at 1 a.m. So I went to sleep. The alarm went off, and I went and I turned off the oven and I went back to sleep. My wife was like, "You're not gonna eat now?" I said, "No, I'm gonna wait." I even went to work out. No, did I go work out that day? I might have skipped working out that day.
Okay.
But I waited until like after 9 to eat. And it felt like it it felt so good. It felt like I earned it. It felt
Mm.
like I earned my meal. And it felt the same way today as well. I ran 5 miles. I
Wow.
went to the gym. I got a really intense workout. I walked back home halfway, and then I took a city bike the rest of the way. And by the time I got home, I felt the food that I was getting ready to put in my body. I deserved it.
Mhm.
I had just burned off calories from the previous day, and now I'm just replenishing my body. I earned this meal. In fact, I haven't eaten since this morning.
Mm.
I'm still satisfied.
Yeah.
It
Yeah.
was a big meal, but I'm still satisfied. And I have more control over myself and my diet now than ever because I'm like, I went 21 days without food. I can go a few hours. I can go a day,
Yeah.
you know. I might even throw in a 7-day fast like once a month, something like that, or once every other month, just to make sure I'm balancing things out. Because I want to eat whatever I want.
Mm.
That's the thing. I want to
Yeah.
eat whatever I want. Whatever the sacrifice I need to make to be able to eat whatever I want and not be at a health risk,
Yeah.
I want to live that lifestyle.
Yeah.
And, I'm going to be doing more challenges, and I am going to go to the doctor to make sure everything's okay
Beautiful.
with my blood work and everything like that. But I am going to do more listening to my body than anything else.
Yeah. Yeah.
I was
I like
explaining this. I
no,
was
go ahead.
explaining to somebody that, the doctors are in the medicine business. Me personally, I I use what comes out of the earth as medicine. So if I'm using what comes out of the earth as medicine and they're taking what comes out of the earth and processing it to put into medicine, I'm like, I can cut out the middleman and just go right to the earth.
Right. Right.
And that's how I've always been. So, sure, if there is a serious injury or need for medical attention, I definitely will use wisdom and
Right.
consult with them. But
Right.
I've been a doctor of Cheyenne for 40 years.
There you have it.
So
Yeah.
I can tell you more about me than
Right.
you can tell me about me.
Right. Because, like you said, it's not about masking things that are going on with us, but it's about, like you said, being in tune with your body, knowing when
Right.
those indicators come on that say, okay, wait, something is not right. Because even when we go to the doctor, we're explaining to the doctor what
Right.
we were experiencing what we're experiencing. So we know best about our body. I know that when I used to wake up, I didn't have this crick in my neck, or I didn't have this pain in my shoulder, or my fingers were able to move and now they're limited. So you're able to tell what's going on with you because you're the one that's expressing to your healthcare provider what's going on. So it is a
Mm-hmm.
matter of tapping into you and knowing you and pushing yourself to a certain limit and then knowing, okay, this is as far as I can go with this. And now, look, I think I can go another step further. Let me go ahead and try it. You
Mm-hmm.
know, at the same time, making sure that you're looking for those cues that if something is wrong, that you stop as well.
Right.
And just like you said, you're going to check your numbers and your blood work. And if everything is fine, then you carry on. But it's
Yes.
important for us to know our bodies, to get in touch with our bodies and not to be so programmed to do things that people are just telling us to do and doing. Like you said, you are the master of Cheyenne. You better than anybody else.
Right.
Just like I have people introduce themselves on this show because you know you better than I do. I only know what you told me, but you know you inside out.
And this is where the doctors make the hospitals and the doctors and the Pharmaceutical companies make the most money. They're counting on you to not know who you are. They're counting on you to not know yourself. They're counting on you to not be familiar with your body. And, my wife and, some other family members struggled with this idea that when you know who you are, what you're capable of, what your body can do, your limits, that you can be your own doctor. Some people want you to go consult with a doctor, and I'm like, I bet the doctor hasn't done a 21-day water fast. How would they know?
Right.
How would they know? Sure, they'll probably try to whatever they can from the internet or from books. And I'm like, but how do you know for sure? But when you experience certain things, and first of all, we know this to be true because our ancestors were healers, natural healers.
Right.
But they created these institutions where the only way you can be deemed credible is if you go through the programs that cost money and which allow only certain classes, at a particular time to achieve certain titles and positions that will allow them to tell us what to do with our bodies.
Yeah.
So why can't you be a healer? Why can't I be a healer? At least for self.
Exactly.
Because I know I trusted my mom more than any doctor. When I'm not feeling well, I don't want the doctor. I want my mom.
Your mom.
Who are you talking about?
That's right. That's right.
This doctor away from me.
Right. You're gonna go with, you're gonna
Poking
go
needles and stuff. Poking needles and stuff in me. My mom ain't never poked no needle in me.
Ever.
Ever.
Okay, but but look, my grandma made a hella mashed potatoes, and that helped to soothe a whole lot of things that were going on.
Right.
More than any needles or anything else. That was it. I'm not feeling well, like I said, the chicken noodle soup, whatever it was that she made, I would go to the source. So you're absolutely right. It's just matter, but like you said, it's a physical thing. It's a mental thing. I love that you said that, as you're going through it, there were some things that you were convinced in your mind. It goes back to, again, that why. You said, and I love that you were honest about it. You was like, it was all about vanity. And it was about ego. I didn't want my wife and my kid to see me fail. That's real talk. Some people are not going to say that. Well, I don't want to sound like it. But you just like, look, real talk. It's about vanity. I want to look good in my shirts. I want them pants to fit good. I don't want my family to look at me as a failure. But some people, that's going to be real. If we can't be real with anybody else, be real with ourselves.
And I'll tell you something else. Reasons will stop you from quitting. If your reason is not important enough to you, if it's not big enough, you'll quit after 7 days. You'll quit after 3 days. If it's not that important to you. That's why I'm like, don't copy me. I had a reason for doing this for 21 days. I wanted to lose my gut. Maybe you don't have a gut. Maybe you don't mind having a gut. Maybe you are addicted to food. Maybe food's more important to you. And if that's the case, you might as well not even start.
Right.
Because you're not going to commit.
Right.
You need to be fed up, so angry at something, because that's what's going to lead you to making a shift and making a change.
Absolutely.
If I wasn't serious about losing that gut, there's no way I would have been able to get through the 21 days. That's why when I do things, it can't be important to anybody else. I didn't even want to include my wife on this 21-day challenge because I said I don't. In fact, when I decided, she was out of town. She came back in town. I said, hey, I'm starting a 21-day fast in 2 days. And she was frightened because she depends on me for food. I be doing the cook. I said, so you're gonna be on your own as far as cooking and stuff like that. She like, oh, okay, okay. And she like, I wish you'd have told me, I would have probably done it with you. I said, nope, I don't want to do this together. This is about me and my gut. This is personal.
Yeah.
I'm not willing to carry anybody else's emotions, anybody else's feelings, doubts, fears, anxieties. I'm not willing to carry that. This is my personal journey that I'm doing for the next 21 days. And I know that I'm not going to quit on myself no matter what.
Right.
And I cannot risk going on this 21-day journey with someone I'm not sure will fully commit, because it's going to be hard.
Right.
And I have a habit of doing things. I just told my wife this today. I have a habit of doing things because they're hard. I said, I don't like running. I run because it's hard. I said, if I run 5 miles in the morning, the rest of my day is easy because I just did the hardest thing to me.
Right.
Me running and working out, that's hard. Everything else in life is easy. I don't want to work out. I don't want to get up early. I don't want to go to bed early. This is hard. That's why I do it. That's why it's the first thing I do. I start with the hardest thing, pushing my body, disciplining myself, being consistent. Ask anybody. That's hard.
Yeah.
Committing to yourself, not quitting, setting an alarm clock, getting up, pushing your body to the limit, that's hard. That's why I start my day with that stuff. And all day I have a great attitude, great energy. I'm spreading love to everybody. People probably think I'm crazy. They're like, it's 6, 7, 8 in the morning. What are you so happy about? I'm finished working out for the day. That's what I'm so happy about.
Right.
I just did 5 miles and worked out, and it's not even 8 a.m.
Right.
I'm excited about that.
But like you said, it's about personal commitment. And that person too. I was just talking with a friend of mine the other day, and she's like, "You get up at 5:30 every morning and work out." Yes, I do. Because like you said, I'm committed. I'm committed to that. That is how I start my day. Just like you said, it's the hardest thing to have to do, because there's sometimes I'm looking at that clock and that clock is looking at me, and I'm just like, what? We doing this?
Yep.
And I have to get up, and I get up and I do it, because just like you said, it's hard. It's hard. It's not something that I always want to do, but I've made that commitment to myself. I've made that commitment to my body. I
Mm-hmm.
know how I'm going to feel after I do it, whether I feel like doing it or not. I'm getting up. I'm doing that. Even when I travel, even when I do anything, I'm getting up because I've made that commitment. And I love that you said that, you didn't want that you didn't want that responsibility of holding somebody else, you
Mm-mm.
know, to that same standard, but you just want to do it for yourself. And that's
Mm-hmm.
important for people to do too. People who are going to see your postings, the people are going to see the results that you have, are going to be like, oh, yeah, you can do that. But are you committed to doing it? And
Mm-hmm.
why are you doing it?
Oh yeah,
You know?
you don't know how many people told me, "Oh, you're not the only one who done a 21-day fast. That's not that impressive. There's many people in churches and all around the world." I was like, "Name one. Do you know anybody? Name one. You speculating. You ain't never met nobody." Now I know there's plenty of people who did it, but it's a shame that the people closest to you
Right,
sometimes just can't be a cheerleader. They can't be
right,
happy for you. They
right.
can't find the good in it. They got to find something negative to say
Exactly,
as
exactly.
opposed to simply celebrating you. This
How
is
about
something,
congratulations? Right.
right? It amazes me, but it didn't discourage me. It helps me understand that you just got to pray for some people.
Yeah.
Sometimes showing people things, uh letting them see it with their own eyes, they're still not believers, and you just got to pray for those people.
But at the end of the day, your pants are fitting the way you want them to. Your pants are pantsing and your shirts are shirting, right?
Right. I'm like, you can't You can't argue with results.
There you go. And
That's
you're
what I
still
say.
here talking about it. You're not laying up anybody's hospital bed. You've done the work and you're reaping the benefits of the result of your hard work.
Next
The
time I'm gonna
end.
do 30,
There you go.
30 days.
There you
In
go.
fact, I could have. The way I felt on day 22, I was not in a rush to get to the food. I had so much food, so much food. I roasted a pork shoulder. I baked jerk chicken.
Mm.
I had jerk Alfredo with jerk meatballs. I love jerk. I had crab and tuna curry pasta. I had cheesy mashed potatoes. I had jerk seasoned rice. I had so much food, and my freezer was even packed to capacity. It stopped working. It was blocking the fan. I was ready to eat in my
Right.
mind, but
Yes.
my body was like, you can go another 10 days and be fine. That's how I felt. Because
Yes.
at that point, my body was just conditioned, hey, we're operating off of water.
Right. Right.
Still
The
wasn't
body.
hungry.
Yeah.
But I met my goal. I set a goal for 21 days. I said, I'm here. I'm going to stop. And I'm going to celebrate myself
Yeah.
with a meal.
Yeah.
And it
And
felt great.
that's the beauty. It's like you said, it's a matter of, what you can do personally, what you're willing to manifest and just allow it to happen. And not be so caught up in, like you said, what other people are thinking you should be doing or how you should be doing it. It becomes personal.
Mm-hmm.
It becomes a mental challenge as well as a physical challenge. You had to tell yourself, okay, yeah, I'm going to stop here, you know, but maybe the next time I'm going to go a little further because I know
Mm-hmm.
that I can. Or I know that my body, like we say, the body is a beast. It is highly adaptable. We know that even from working out, you can work out. You've got to change it up every now and then because after a while, your body's gonna be like, okay, yeah, we've done this.
Mm-hmm.
We don't need to produce any results because now this is our norm. I think about strength training. I think about people who, we say, how can people ride the bus every day and have to walk a certain length of time every day and they're still gaining weight? Why are they not fit? Because their body is used to doing that. And while they're walking, those 2 miles they walk every day, they may be eating Cheetos or Doritos or anything else while they do
Mm-hmm.
that. And
Mm-hmm.
so,
Mm-hmm.
so their body is conditioned to respond to those 2 miles. It doesn't mean anything. It's part of their normal being. So at times we do have to challenge ourselves. How do we know if we can go any further if we never challenge ourselves? If we never, say, I'm going to push the limits a little bit and see where it takes me.
Yeah,
We
you
get
have to shock the body. You have to do something to wake the body up, shock the body, let the body know something different is happening because you want different results. And the last thing I want to say, I want to tie it, back into relationships is, my family, my siblings, my aunts, uncles, cousins, my son, my wife, everybody that I've told about this is inspired. At first, they were afraid. Some of them were, like worried. Like, what are you doing? Who did you talk to about this? I'm like, you should know me by now that this is just how I roll. If I say I'm going to do something, it's going to get done. And so after the 21 days, they saw I was alive and well and thriving. They're like, and they saw the results. They're like, this is inspiring. I am encouraged. And, I believe in you. I really, I'm really happy to see that you started something and finished it and you weren't afraid to embark on it. So, my son, when I look at him, there's a different look. Same thing with my wife, there's a different look and feel from them. My family, the tone of their voice, everything, it went from fear to inspiration. And I feel like, a lot of us don't have someone, we see things on the internet, we don't have someone close enough, someone we can touch, talk to, look in their eyes, shake their hands, give them a hug. who has done something that is extraordinary.
Yeah.
And, when my time is up, I want all of my close associates, family members, friends, neighbors, and everything to be inspired, knowing that I was someone who wasn't afraid to do something and take risks, do something extraordinary.
Yeah.
In fact, I'm like, what's my next challenge? What am I gonna do next? I want to go bigger. I'm like, when's the next triathlon? I want to do something else extraordinary, and just keep challenging myself and outdoing myself.
Yeah.
I'm competing with myself, no one else.
That's it. And that's what we should be doing. We should always be striving, like you said, to be better versions of ourselves. And the only
Yes.
way we're going to do that is to push the limits every now and then and see what we're capable of. And
And
then
I
also,
say,
yeah,
I'll say something else as it pertains to relationships is people are attracted to this story.
yeah,
Like when I share this photo, people are like, "You did what?" They're interested. They have so many questions. They want to keep in touch. They want to I got like 500 new followers just from sharing my reels talking about this stuff. Because again, no, we hear about crazy things like this, but you rarely meet the person.
right.
It's like, and I'm very social. People at the gym know me, church, the
Mhm.
neighbors, neighborhood, they know. So they look at me like, yo, you done lost a lot of weight because I lost 30 pounds.
Yeah, that's a lot.
And so I encourage people, especially singles, if you're finding that you're not meeting people or you're not attracting people easily, do something extraordinary. Do something extraordinary. It could be anything. Graduate from Get your bachelor's degree, get your master's degree, get your PhD, start a business, buy a house, run a marathon. It doesn't have to be any of those things, but these are just examples of something that will make you interesting because it's something that most people don't do. Not I know a handful of people who have PhDs. That's interesting. I want to talk to you about that.
Right,
The people who have run marathons, I want to talk to you about that. You built
right.
your body. I want to talk to you about that. You traveled to other countries. I want to talk to you about that. Do something interesting. Never be boring.
Yeah,
Be extraordinary. Anyone can do it. Everyone can do it. And I guarantee you, if you're not meeting anybody right now, when you do something extraordinary, just like that, you're going to start meeting people left and right. I promise you.
I love it. I love it. Well, what I definitely want to do is tell people how they can get in contact with you so that you can continue to share your story with them and also to find out the services that you provide in your relationship coaching because that's something that like you said it all is a culmination of us being the extraordinary people that we're striving to be. So tell people how they can get in contact with you.
First of all, thank you so much for having me back on the show. I had an amazing time as always. And you all can find me on social media. I'm on all platforms under Cheyenne Bostock. And you can visit my website, CheyenneBostock.com, to access coaching, e-courses, and my books on dating and relationships.
Awesome, awesome sauce, honey. Like I said, it was a pleasure having you back to have you to come on here. I'm grateful, for this platform so that way we can share stories of inspiration like this and also just to continue to inspire people, to bring clarity, to peel back another layer of that onion because sometimes people they'll see things on social media and they just go, "Oh, I could do that," or "That's impossible." But I'm glad that we had an opportunity for people to get a chance to meet Cheyenne, to meet the person behind those pictures and all of the success and all of the things that you've been doing over these last 21 days. And so first of all, I salute you for that and
Thank you.
for, you know, bringing, another aspect of relationships with self to our listenership and just knowing that there are ways that we can do things that are going to take us to a higher level. Like you said, be phenomenal, be extraordinary. look at things that are going on in your life and see what you can do to crank it up a notch.
Yes.
That way, people are always going to see that best version of you. So do you have any other parting words for our listeners before we go?
You're only in competition with yourself. Always look to be a better version of yourself. That's one of the most attractive things anyone can do.
All right, you heard it here. And again, like I said, you are part of the How Now family. You've been a part of the How Now family, so you're always welcome back because there's
Thank you.
always something going on in your now, and you always have this platform in which to share with our listenership the things that are going on because, like we said, we don't know what's happening 2 minutes, 2 hours, 2 years, 2 weeks, 2 months from now. But you know that you have a place to come and share. So again, I appreciate having you on the show. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you for having me. It certainly has.
All right. And that will do it for this edition of the How Now podcast, where we talk about how to live in the now. And until we see you the next time, I say peace.